Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening for our Village of Alsip committee meeting. Today's May 29th, 2018. We'll call this meeting order at 7:30. Can you call the roll, please?
Sure. Trustee McGreal is absent at this time. Trustee Dalzell.
Here.
Trustee Pierce. Here. Trustee Zielinski.
Here.
Trustee Juarez will be absent this evening. Trustee McLaughlin.
Here.
Mayor Ryan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thanks. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we'll start with officers' reports, starting with myself. A couple of quick notes. I meant to bring this up last week, and we'll post this out in the hallway too, that the Blue Island Fire Museum fundraiser is going to happen June 9th on a Saturday from 9 till 12 p.m. They're actually hosting a all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast at Fire Station number 1, which is at 2450 Vermont Street over in Blue Island, to support the Blue Island Fire Museum. I apologize, I didn't get that on the front end. It's the Blue Island Fire Museum is what they're trying to promote. And donation is $6. Kids under 4 years old is no charge. And again, that's from 8 in the morning till noon, Saturday, June 9th. Next, I had a discussion, Chief Stasinski's not here right now. I spoke with Chief Miller right before the meeting too, but I'd like to have a short discussion or input anyway from the board if they wish. I know years ago we talked about assigning credit cards to department heads, and it hasn't been done. And I'd like to revisit that. Now that I've been in office here for a year, I do see the need for some of the departments to have credit cards, certainly with limits and with an explanation of expenses yet too. But we're still utilizing petty cash in a lot of cases, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily work. We don't always have cash around to put at all the departments, and I do think simplifying it with a card helps. Many of the departments, the police, fire, building, you name it, my department, I've got a credit card right now, and so does the finance director. We attend meetings occasionally where you've got parking lots we need to pay for and whatnot, and even with reimbursements is just a long process. And I think we streamline that process if we assign credit cards with, certainly with credit limits on each card yet too. Any thoughts on it?
And what I would like to see is a written policy from the finance director identifying department heads or who will have them, exactly what the limits are and what the authorized spending would be.
Oh, that's understood, definitely, yeah.
Definitely limits of authority. I mean, I think that if you set that table, of course, with, what they would normally spend, in a year for, reimbursements, and then also a line, a maximum line item value.
Yeah.
Individual purchase max.
Yeah. Typically, I believe the kitty, the petty cash, I believe they only keep $200 at either place. And Chief, maybe you'd explain that better. How much do you think you're using per month?
It varies what's going on, and sometimes if there's an unforeseen circumstance, that's pretty much what we're using it for, to
Right.
cover our bases for the time being. But yeah, I don't know, we'd probably go through that. I think we filled it twice so far in my tenure, but
Okay.
before that we used it a lot more often. So it all depends.
So we don't need a big limit on it anyway then too. It's not that much per month. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not so much about the credit card limits. It's about the limits of authority. And I asked the finance director for this a couple of months ago. I know that he told me what your limits of authority were, but he said that he knew it existed. It's not in an ordinance book or anything, but he wasn't sure about anybody else's. But he knows what you can do
Yes.
as the mayor without board approval. So I mean, as long as we set that up, I mean, it's
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I just want to set the table and bring it back and so forth then too. So
Some of the hard things, though, is that they have to be cognizant if they just purchase things We have to have the tax exempt letter, because otherwise you get that charge on there, and then you try to get the vendor to get it off, and sometimes that causes a little bit of hassle as well. But whether you pay for it in cash or not, it still might be that same issue.
Sure. Okay, so we'll work on that. I'll get that information back to everyone for review. Also, I spoke with Chief Miller earlier today, and I haven't had a chance to speak with the fire chief. Roger, I know you were on the street all day today as well, too. It was brought to my attention, and I was actually just recently reviewing a lot of our municipal violations. There's actually, I've got a sheet that I keep here for the municipal violation, the hearing officer, when we have court and so forth, and in-house. And while we do have different classes of ordinance and basically a field of range for fines, let's say, for instance, just picking out like an offense. Let's say there was a sprinkling regulation. Let's say somebody was sprinkling on a day that they shouldn't have been, and that it's a Class D ordinance violation. It could be ranged depending on how many times this has happened with this particular person, but it could be anywhere from a $50 fine all the way up to $275. And that you can mail in, that you can mail in a check to pay for. Prepay. I'm sorry, no, you can't. N is no. So no, you got to come in. I'm sorry, yes, it does. I apologize. There's a handful of them here. My bad. I got glasses on yet too. But yeah, sprinkler regulation, yes, you can prepay that offense. But let's say there was a few others here. Anyway, I asked the police department to go through these, and I'll do the same with the fire and the building department too. I think there's a few of these that really could be streamlined, where they could be prepaid by what we talked about, even what you're doing with the stickers right now, with the vehicle stickers, that they can be called in through a credit card. I mean, everybody's doing this now. To me, it doesn't make sense for some of these violations, because some are, this might be a little outdated. The fines are still what they are. We've updated the fines per ordinance, but even like a truancy or a curfew violation, somebody would have to take the day off of work to come in to pay that violation.
Truancy, curfew, you're going to allow those to be prepaid.
What's that?
You're going to allow those to be prepaid.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just skimming down the list here.
Okay.
And stuff.
No,
I'm
that
asking
person
him to
should
go
come
through the
and
list.
face
Yeah, I'm
the
just
judge.
saying. Right now, they don't have to. I didn't go through this. I'm going to let the police department qualify these. A flea market, you can't prepay. A flea market. Oh, that could be something else attached to
A
it.
flea market.
Okay, we're covered on the Halloween solicitation. We're good with that one yet too, But anyway, there's a few that.
If the MV court's being overburdened by the volume of people, I could see allowing prepay on certain offenses, but it's a compliance court. And so it's not there to seek revenue, but to correct issues. And if you allow somebody to send in $50, it's a $50 hit. It's an economic thing. The only thing they learned is they don't have $50 to spend elsewhere. You make them come in here, then pay $50, spend a little time, maybe bring mom and dad with you. Now all of a sudden there's some corrections that are involved.
Well, I guess the one I was really kind of getting to was the weed and vegetation control, like a tall grass ticket.
I'll tell you what, I'm with that, because that was one of the first violations we started enforcing when we implemented the MV here. And before then, police officers, including myself, would never write that ticket because it went to Bridgeview Court and they didn't care about it. So what happened is that you would keep your lawn nicely manicured, and a neighbor 2 houses down would have 18 inches of overgrowth, and no one would write that. Now they can write that citation. Police officers love writing that ticket because it makes the neighborhood clean.
Sure.
It makes the neighbors satisfied. It fixes the broken window theory, where it makes the neighborhood look better. And all of a sudden, when people start getting a $100 ticket to mow their lawn, they start mowing their lawn.
Well, sure. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, do they have to physically appear in court to pay it?
Well, especially if it's the second or third iteration of that. I believe that you've got quite a few of those sitting out there.
It's been a long month of grass riding tickets.
Yeah, there's a lot of those going on, but anyway, all I'm trying to do is, we do get a full courtroom here, and so far the hearing officer's doing a pretty good job, but that's the reason for discussion, is if we're interested in a review, and that's why this is certainly where I felt the police department can qualify. If they saw a couple that maybe did qualify for a prepay, we can have discussion on that, but I brought that to the chief earlier. I'm just bringing it to everybody else's attention now then, too, to see if there's anything there. To take the day off of work to come in to pay a tall grass ticket, it's a double whammy. I mean, certainly you got hit for that tall grass for $100, but now you lost a day's worth of pay, too.
I'll teach
I'll bet you that
about
grass
laundry.
didn't get that way overnight.
No.
And I'll bet you they had 2 weeks before then to figure out the grass was growing. And, I mean, I think that any of us can look around in our neighborhoods and see our neighbors that have that. And I get it. I've got some elder neighbors. And that's where you go over there and you pitch a hand in, is being a neighbor. Other ones just don't care. And the only way they're going to care is by the inconvenience of coming in and standing before the judge and telling their story.
Mm-hmm. And
Again, it's a compliance court. Fortunately, we've been doing that for a long time here. And where I work, we continue to do that, and we see those citations all the time as well.
you have them come in for the tall grass?
Absolutely.
I agree with Trustee Dalzell, because it's not like we're sending them to downtown Chicago where they got to pay for parking and take the whole day off. I mean, they live in the neighborhood. Everybody here lives within 4 or 5 miles of Village Hall. So I think if they're not complying and they've got to pay and take some time off, then they will probably start complying.
Next on my list was I'm working on 2 possible replacements for myself on the fire pension board. I'm talking with a couple individuals right now, and hopefully have something worked out in the next few weeks with that. Then you had one on your agendas this evening, was discussion to approve an agreement with Fox Vending to replace machines at the Village Hall for the vending machines. My assistant Becky was working with the last couple of vendors, and one, we weren't happy with either, and Becky did like the presentation made by Fox Vending. In fact, there's no cost to the village for any of this, but because we are entering into a contract with them, it certainly needs board approval. Was there any questions on this?
Well, I said from reading through the contract, there's also no payment to the village in any way?
No, neither was the other ones. We never got any money from the It's just a service for the employees. The police department, when they're here on calls and they need to get something to drink or eat or whatever, it's just there for their convenience.
Any questions?
Didn't we at one time have vending machines supplied by Coca-Cola?
We spoke
We
with
did
them.
at one
I
time.
spoke with them, and that's who gave me Fox Vending. They only do Coke products, but
Right.
Fox Vending supplies the Coke products, but also does the chips and the snacks and all that stuff too.
So Fox Vending was predicated on the snack portion rather than just the beverage?
And Coca-Cola. They'll bring the Coca-Cola here as well. They'll stock it from the Coca-Cola
Okay.
products, because they actually stock at Coca-Cola.
Okay. Well, I like the idea that we're getting Coke products from...
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no, absolutely. We called them. That's how we got Fox.
All right, cool.
The clerk's report, Clerk Pretzel.
Thank you, Mayor. Presentation and approval of the May 14th, 2018 Village Committee meeting minutes. Also wanted to, per Trustee McLawhorn's mention last committee meeting, wanted to bring up for discussion the approval for myself and Eric O'Donnell to attend the municipal clerks of the south and west suburbs of Cook County dinner meeting on June 7th, 2018, for a total cost of $56 for both of us. It's a group of the south and west suburbs. The invitation goes out to approximately 80 clerks and deputy clerks. It's a great resource for myself as well as Erica there's quite a few times when one clerk from a village will throw something up, like, does anybody post FOIAs publicly, the reports? And all the clerks can kind of chime in. We share ideas as far as what we're charging for vehicle stickers or fines or business licenses or that kind of stuff. So it's a great networking tool for us. They have meetings once a month. I have not attended all of them. I have attended 3 previously since I've been in office, so this would be my 4th.
Ooh, you party girl.
And it's kind of a round robin that they're hosted by different villages or cities within the suburbs. So if it's approved by the board, Eric and I would like to attend.
I see no issues.
Trustee Pierce?
Nope. No issue.
Trustee Dalzell?
Good.
Trustee Zelinski? Thank you, appreciate that. And just one minor note, vehicle sticker sales are kind of slow right now. We've only sold 3,700 coming into the Village Hall and 14 online. Last year's total vehicle stickers during the normal season was 10,600, so we're only at about a third, and we only have about 30 days left to go. So if you know your neighbors, please plod them along, not to wait to the very last Saturday in the month of June so that we're backed up, 15 people deep. It can be purchased online, as the mayor mentioned earlier, as well as being mailed in.
How much is the fine for not having it on time?
It's 50.
50? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
And that is all, Mayor.
Okay. We've reached a public forum. Would anyone in attendance wish to address the board? No one? Thank you. The standing committee reports, Finance Committee, Trustee McGlowan.
Under Finance, I will have the usual list of accounts payable and payroll for approval. That's it.
All right, thanks. How about the fire report, Trustee McGlowan?
No report.
The police report, committee?
No report. No report. Do we have anything, Jay? Okay.
Jay? No. Public Work report and boat launch committee?
No report.
The building committee, Trustee Zelinski.
I have a discussion for approval of a block party with DJ on Harding Avenue to take place July 21st, 2018, between the hours of 12 p.m. and 11 p.m. That's all I have.
All right.
Is that
Is Aaron TJ supposed to be over by 10?
The music and stuff needs to stop at 10.
Yeah, did this get to your office yet, Jay? Chief?
I'm not sure. I was out of the office most
Okay.
of last week, so I'm not sure if Sean signed off on it.
I think
but-
Sean signed off on it based on the paperwork. I don't recall seeing anything, though, that specified, and it just is between the hours of 12 p.m. and 11 p.m. So how do we let them know that the music has to be done by 10?
I'll just make it a note of it and say DJ must end by 10 o'clock or by
this isn't that one from last year?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So we can adjust the time and
Well,
just
yeah, we're going to vote on this next week, so Trustee, I'd recommend amending that to reflect 10 o'clock per ordinance,
10 o'clock just for the music or 10 o'clock
the
for
DJ, yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any problems, but no, it's right where it was.
Okay. Anything else, Trustee?
No, that's all I have
All
tonight.
Water and sewer report, Trustee Dalzell.
The discussion for approval to have the village attorney draft a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Palos Heights for the Tinley Creek water main relocation. And then also I'd like to add in for next week the request to go out to bid regarding the Pulaski Avenue TIF project, and I will have Dan fill in the blanks.
Yeah, so the plans are ready for the Pulaski Avenue TIF water main replacements. I'd like to get it out to bid,
Yes.
advertised for bid, so that we can have a bid opening on June 25th. That would give, by approving, the advertisement next week, that would give contractors 3 weeks to prepare their bids. Get us a little more time to get the advertisement out to more contractors. So hopefully, like I said, have the bid opening June 25th and the letting on July 2nd.
Okay. Any questions?
How long does that take to do that job?
It's, shouldn't be, because they're going to directional drill it, it's a lot less disruption, it's a straight shot, but you're probably talking a couple of months. That's, you don't want to push it and end up into, December again.
No, we don't.
Dan, is this going under the street or through the parkways?
That'll go through the parkway. We're going to do everything we can to snake it.
So
The
you
current
won't
main,
block any
portion
lanes
of
on
the current
Pulaski.
main is under the street, and we want to get it outside of the roadway. But by directional drilling it, it'll eliminate a lot of the issues with other utilities.
So 117th to 123rd we're going?
120th place, so from the library north to 117th Street.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought we were going 123rd. All right. Anything else?
Nothing else, Mayor.
Okay. Excuse me. License committee. License someone from the committee?
We'll have a list of licenses for the period of May 14th through May 25th of 2018. And that's it.
All right. The Economic Development Committee, Trustee Pierce.
No report tonight, Mayor.
The Planning and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zelinski.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Special Committee Reports, Village Properties, Trustee McGlohorn.
I apologize for not getting this on the formal agenda, but I do have some communication from Roger. He wants to update the board first on the vacancy rate at both Heritage 1 and Heritage 2. Currently, there are 2 vacancies at Heritage 1 and a total of 5 at Heritage 2.
That's great.
Pretty close to full. Roger would also like to commend his team on all of their dedication and hard work. Without that, we would not be as close to our goal as we are now. I am working with Zyler Management to get to 100% occupancy. There are wait lists that Zyler is diligently working on going through to help us obtain the 100% occupancy goal.
Roger, we get the pool open yesterday?
Pools were open yesterday.
Okay.
They're heated to 83 degrees.
Wow. I saw a diamond over there a week or two ago. I had a meeting with somebody and they were there. Yeah. Okay.
They do
Okay.
regular maintenance on it, and then they do cleanings twice a week on it.
How are we doing with those automated doors? Have we started that yet?
They should be starting this week
Okay. All right.
over Heritage 2, yes.
Okay. Thank you. The Insurance Committee.
No report, Mayor.
Ordinance and Legislation, Trustee Pierce.
No report, Mayor.
IT, Trustees Dalzell.
No report, Mayor.
Human Resource Committee.
No report, Mayor.
Health and Pollution, Trustee Pierce.
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell.
No report, Mayor.
Come on, I thought you'd mix it up a
The
little bit
camera
on that
on
one.
115th.
Then we've reached any presentations, petitions, or communications.
People are asking me. I don't know why. I mean, why? Why are you
Okay, we had none.
going to drive different?
Any unfinished business?
Yes, they will. They'll quit running the red light.
None. Any new business?
Mayor, how was the Memorial Day celebrations in town yesterday? I know you attended.
You know what? Thanks for asking. It was attended well. We had probably, I don't know, 50 people maybe out at the Veteran Plaza. Actually, Chief Stasinski actually brought out both firehouses. The men were on shift. They brought out both houses, showed up at the fire department, and a couple of motorcycle clubs came out as they always do with the VFW and we had a couple handfuls of residents and stuff
Yes.
there too. It was nice. We had a ceremony at the about a half an hour's worth at the Veteran Plaza, and then we went back to the VFW for a short presentation, and they had some refreshments and hot dogs and so forth to give everybody. So it was a nice get together. Yeah, real good. How about you? You said you had to go to the
Yeah,
American
yeah,
Legion?
it was in Bridgeview, so it's good. It's hot, but
Yeah.
you don't see. It was too bad you don't see some of the old timers you usually see in weather like that. But
I think I was the only one with long pants on. I don't know, it just, it was
didn't get
hot
the-
out yesterday and
You
stuff.
didn't get the
too.
memo.
Yeah, no, apparently not, so. No, I wasn't holding up well in all that sun, I can tell you that, so. Anyway, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you for joining us this evening, folks. Have a great evening.
Motion adjourned at 7:55 PM.
Yes.
That's the only place I got.